think probably in my lifetime, curating has gone from being a sort of profession for sort of talented enthusiasts, and has become an incredibly layered professional activity. And I suppose the new Ways of Curating project, in a way, is allowing a more esoteric or at least a personal view of what collections are about, and is about teasing out the stories within those collections in different ways.
I think what makes New Ways perhaps different from other projects that are collaborations between collections-based organisations and the visual arts artists particularly, is a number of things. It's the long-term nature of it. We're looking at fostering relationships, challenging practice and changing organisations through a long-term dialogue with the visual arts that won't just end and then we carry on the normal day-to-day, but will influence the way that these organisations and others will behave in the future. What we were presented with these great ideas that came forward, and following a period of research, working with those institutions to really develop those ideas, was a wonderful demonstration of how the visual arts could enrich three distinct areas of curatorship. We had in Walsall's New Art Gallery proposal a fantastic example of how a direct collaboration, a new way of collaborating between an archivist and an artist on a distinct and often backroom activity, cataloguing a collection, could show us a new way of reviewing that collection and demonstrating its creative potential. In Sandwell's case, we had a wonderful situation where they actually gave the project name to us already, New Ways of Collecting, and that's exactly what they were interested in doing. They've been aware for some years that the traditional methodology behind building a collection was never going to work for them. The kinds of material they needed to collect was simply too big, too rusty, too dangerous and too rare, and often too mute to really tell the stories that they wanted to tell. And of course they had explored, as good curators would do, how they could develop that new style of collecting, and realised that actually it was going to take an outside influence to help them do that. And that's where they wanted to bring in an artist with a deep interest in curatorial practice, but also a creative twist that could show them a new way forward. And with Compton Verney, they were very aware of the importance of focusing on their core collections and not necessarily relying upon their large blockbuster shows that they have at Compton Verney, very successful though they are, to really engage the public in new ways with those core collections, and importantly find connections between, which I think was really exciting. And so new ways of engaging with Bourne. There's that phrase, isn't there, I think that's been made popular by Roy Clare recently, that we've got to be more than keepers, we've got to be sharers and storytellers. And I think that's the critical difference between having collections and keeping them, and actually using them very effectively, sharing them and reaching those people that can have most benefit from them. And I think that's what we're talking about, that it's not enough just to hold them. And for too long, many museums and archives have kind of argued for their own continued survival on what they hold rather than what they do with it. And I think that's really what we've got to demonstrate, that such extraordinary things can be done with it. And I'd like to think that in itself is a creative process, and we should argue that curatorship is a creative practice.